At the end of this topic, you will be able to define animal husbandry, list the purpose and elements of animal husbandry, name the indigenous cattle breeds in India, discuss how silage is prepared. The scientific method of rearing honeybees for honey and wax is called apiculture or beekeeping. Honeybees are social insects. They live in colonies. They exhibit teamwork and division of labor. There are 3 types of bees in a colony. Queen. It is the only fertile female in the hive. The function of the queen bee is to lay eggs. Drones. These are fertile male bees and its function is to mate with queen bee and fertilize the eggs. Workers. These are sterile females. They take care of the queen and young bees, collect nectar, build honeycombs and protect the beehive. Cattle. Large ruminant animals with horns and cloven hoofs domesticated for meat, milk or labor. Cows, bulls and oxes are together called cattle. Examples of Indian cattle breed are Shahiwal, Red Sindhi, Gir and Dioni are used for their milk. Holstein Friesian is an exotic breed from Holland and Friesland in Netherlands. They are known as a breed that gives very high yield of milk. It is distinctive with large black and white color markings. These cattle have been used as dairy animals for more than 2000 years. Murrah and Jersey are examples of cattle that are selected for milk-yielding purposes. Strong animals that are used for pulling heavy loads and plowing fields are known as drought animals. Kangayam, Umlacheri, Amrit Mahal and Halikar are popular breeds of drought cattle used for heavy labor. Ongol, Kankraj and Tarparkar are breeds used for both the purpose of milk and work. Cattle feed is made out of roughages and concentrates. Roughage is a coarse food high in fiber but low in nutrients. Example, hay, straw and pasture grass. Concentrates are grain-type feeds such as sorghum, kumbu, tamarind seed, rice bran, tapioca residue, ragi husk, sunflower meal, groundnut oil cake, gingerly oil cake, cotton seed cake and neem cake. Milch cow, a cattle reared for their milk, feeds on concentrates equivalent to 2.5 to 3% of its body weight. They also feed on grass varieties like hybrid napier, Sudan grass, berseem and millets known as green fodder. Silage is a highly nutritious food. Silage can be defined as fermented high moisture stored fodder which can be fed to cows, sheep and goats. Silage can be made from ordinary green grass, maize, sorghum or other cereals and other weeds using the entire green plant. Plant material is chopped into small pieces. The crops are shredded into small pieces and packed inside bags and sealed to allow fermentation. After 2 weeks, the silage is ready to be fed to cattle.
In this topic, you have learned
Animal husbandry is a branch of agriculture concerned with the care and breeding of domestic animals such as cattle, dogs, sheep and horses. Shahiwal, Red Sindhi, Gir and Dioni are examples of Indian cattle breed that are used for their milk. Strong animals that are used for pulling heavy loads for transportation or plowing fields are called drought animals. Silage can be defined as fermented high moisture stored fodder which can be fed to cows, sheep and goats.
At the end of the topic, you will be able to discuss poultry farming in India. List down the methods of healthy farm production. Describe the selection methods of breeds. Discuss feeding ingredients in poultry farming. Discuss marketing of eggs and chicken. Poultry farming in India. Poultry farming in India was mostly a backyard venture and largely a rural cottage enterprise. The productivity of indigenous chicken was around 60 to 70 eggs per bird per year. The poultry scenario in the country has changed dramatically in the past 3 years. Poultry farming has modified itself into an organized industry in recent years. It plays an important role against malnutrition and poverty of our country. The poultry sector solves the problems of unemployment and underemployment in well-conceived plan by the developmental programs. Among the livestock plants and studies, poultry farming requires very less capital investment and less time in ensuring the quick returns. Feeding materials for poultry birds. Different feeds are given to the chickens for the maximum growth achievement. Carbohydrates are found in grains which can be fed whole or ground. They can be given as corn, rice, maize, barley, oats, sorghum, finger millets, and bran from rice or other grains. Cake from the processing of ground nuts, cottonseed, or dates can also provide carbohydrate and protein. Soybean meal contains proteins. Animal products such as fish meal, milk powder, and dried blood are also given. They contain proteins and can be given to birds. Fats are found in cottonseed, ground nuts, and sunflowers. Minerals are rich in bone meal, eggshells, and old seashells. They are ground and added to the feed. Cuttlefish bone is an excellent source of minerals. Vitamins may be supplied by adding green plants to the feed or by adding commercially produced vitamins. Selection of poultry breeds. In poultry farming, selection of breeds depends on the need of raising chickens. It could be raised for eggs, meat, exhibition, rare breed preservation, and for the enjoyment of raising and observing the behavior of chickens. By knowing the types of chickens for a particular need, time, money, and enjoyment of raising poultry can be saved. Let us discuss some examples. White leghorns are prolific layers of white eggs. Golden comets and red sex-links are excellent layers of brown eggs. In general, chicken breeds with white earlobes lay white eggs, whereas chickens with red earlobes lay brown eggs. Desi breeds like Asil, Chittagong, Gargus are small, slow-growing, and poor layers of eggs, but have natural immunity against common diseases. Dual-purpose breeds include several American and English breeds such as Plymouth Rocks, Sussex, and Wyandottes. These breeds are very good egg layers as well as good enough for meat production. Breeds like Cornish Cross, a cross between White Cornish and White Plymouth Rock, are selected for its fast growth because they reach 2 to 3 kilograms in 6 weeks and 3 to 5 kilograms in 8 to 12 weeks. Healthy methods for poultry production. Poultry farmers adopt healthy methods for good production. Some are: good laying equipment is necessary. Adequate light and ventilation are essential. Protection from diseases is taken care of. Cages and houses kept clean with droppings removed every week. Feed and water containers cleaned out every day. Wet, muddy areas that develop around water containers or anywhere else is not allowed. Cages and houses are cleaned thoroughly before new birds are placed. Young birds are kept separate from older birds to avoid infection of diseases like coccidia, common poultry diseases. Poultry chickens are known to suffer from bacterial, fungal, and viral diseases. Fowl cholera, salmonellosis, and coryza are the common bacterial diseases. Fowlpox and ranicate are the dreaded viral diseases. Fowl mite, chicken mite, fleas, licks, and lice are known to be present on the external surface of the poultry chicken and cause diseases. They are also called as external parasites. Chickens and ducks become infected with worms from soil, feed, or water contaminated with worm eggs. Worm infections are of great importance in young birds as they cause poor appetite, loss of weight, and diarrhea. Heavy infection can cause death. In older birds, loss of weight and poor egg production occurs. Common treatments for poultry infections. Newly born chicken is vaccinated periodically. Vaccination is done for all poultry birds at one time. Worms present in the bird can be killed by treating the bird with a suitable anthelmintic. Worms are killed by tetramycin or levamisole. Birds are either treated separately or the drugs are mixed with the feed or water. A wide range of antibiotics, particularly broad-spectrum sulfur drugs, are widely used for treatment of poultry diseases. To control external parasites, birds are treated with a powder or spray containing trichlorphone or malathion. Scaly leg of chickens can be treated by dipping the leg in paraffin or kerosene and then gently brushing the leg. Paraffin is not allowed to touch the skin or feathers. The cages and houses must be thoroughly cleaned. Chickens will clean their feathers daily with soil or sand, which is called a dust bath. A shallow box containing sand and ashes will be used by birds to keep the feathers clean and free of infections. Marketing of eggs and chicken. The success of poultry industry is linked to the strategies of marketing of eggs and chicken. The most important component in the marketing of the eggs is to handle them with care at the time of collection, transportation, and in the sale counter. Even if the chicks are ready to be used as meat, proper arrangements are to be made to supply water and nutrients until they are sacrificed as protein source. To avoid breakage of eggs, special designs are planned in the poultry farms. They are packed in tailor-made egg trays which can be piled up one over the other after inserting eggs in each tray. These trays protect the eggs from both vertical and horizontal friction and avoid breakage during transportation. The design of the transport vehicles for the chicken are also specially designed cages to allow the requisite freedom to the birds.
The increase in egg production brought about the silver revolution in the area of animal husbandry. There are more than hundreds of breeds of fowls. The fowls are classified on the basis of their utility to man. They are meat type, egg type, dual type. The Tamil Nadu government is giving much importance to poultry industry. Namakkal, Palladam and Chennai are well known for poultry industries. Each child is given an egg on all working days of schools in Tamil Nadu.
In this topic, you have learned commercial establishments that supply layer birds and broiler birds are called hatcheries. Hatchery is a place where hatching of eggs is artificially undertaken. Good feeding, housing and disease control are necessary to get good production in poultry farming. Balanced feed with proteins, carbohydrates, fats, minerals, vitamins and water in sufficient quantity is very important for a successful poultry farm. The most important component in the marketing of the eggs is to handle them with care at the time of collection, transportation and in the sale counter. At the end of the topic, you will be able to define pisciculture, discuss the stages of fish farming, describe the construction and maintenance of fish pond. Why fish farming is important. Fishes found in rivers, lakes and ponds are called freshwater fishes, and those living in the sea are called marine fishes. Fish is one of the most important sources of food for man. Fishes are the best source of protein, vitamin A, D, and essential fatty acids called unsaturated fatty acids. Due to increase in population and export markets, it has become a necessity to grow fish of uniform variety and size without any infection on a large scale and without causing ecological imbalance. This is called fish farming or pisciculture. This unit details on the fish farming stages and construction and maintenance of fish pond. Fish farming stages. Different methods of fish farming are adopted for different types of fishes. Some generalized methods can be classified into two main stages: breeding and collection of eggs, hatching of eggs and rearing of fish. Breeding and collection of eggs is also known as seed production. Collection of eggs. Constraints. Fishes produce thousands of eggs which stick to each other, forming a large mass, and settles down to the bottom of the water. Those eggs can be collected with ease. The eggs of some kinds of fish do not stick with each other. In such cases, each egg settles down individually at the bottom of the water. During flooding and monsoons, it is difficult to collect the eggs. It is also difficult to know the exact period of fishes laying eggs and collect them. Hence, artificial methods are applied for breeding fishes.
Extensive pisciculture, growing fish on natural feed. Intensive pisciculture, growing fish on artificial feed to maximize production. Monoculture, growing a single type of fish in a given water body. Polyculture, growing one or more types of fishes with different feeding habits together in a water body. Integrated pisciculture, growing fish with agricultural crops or other animals. Fish culture requires different types of ponds for the various stages of growth of fish. The types of ponds are as follows. Breeding ponds. Sexually mature males and females are collected and left in these ponds for breeding. Hatchery ponds. The seeds collected from breeding ponds are placed here in order to hatch the young fishes called fish fries. Nursery ponds. 3 to 5 day old fish fries are fed well and retained for about 20 days. Rearing ponds. These are deeper ponds in which fish fries from the nursery ponds are transferred and maintained here for about 3 months. The fish fries grow to a size of about 125 millimeters length and are now called fish fingerlings. Stocking ponds. These are larger ponds and the fingerlings are fed with artificial feed. Organic and inorganic fertilizers are used to increase growth.
Artificial methods, egg collection. To collect eggs with ease and to induce artificial breeding, ponds are dug in areas where rainwater accumulates. At the outset of the monsoon, adult fish that are found to be ready for breeding are released into the pond. When the monsoon sets in, the fish starts breeding and the eggs are laid in the pond. Eggs called seeds are collected from the pond easily because the area to be searched for eggs is small and eggs are not lost. In a few cases, the eggs are allowed to hatch in the pond itself and the newly hatched young fishes are collected. The new young fishes are called spawn. In this method, seasonal ponds are preferred than perennial ponds as they are found to be easy to maintain and clean. Artificial methods induced breeding. Intensive fish farming methods cannot depend on the seasonal supply of fish eggs. For this purpose, adult fishes are made to breed in artificial conditions in specially designed chambers. This method is referred as induced breeding. Induced breeding has several advantages over the earlier methods as eggs are produced at any time from the desired species without any contamination. As a first step, male and female breeders are injected with an extract of pituitary gland and then released into small tanks with flowing water. Pituitary extract induces the release of eggs from female and sperms from male fish. The fishes are taken out and their abdomen is dressed gently where sperms called milt and eggs are collected. They are transferred to a clean basin of water and mixed well to allow fertilization. After fertilization, eggs are collected. Eggs are transferred to ponds and allowed to hatch. Hatching and rearing of fish. Eggs collected by the induced breeding methods may be grown in natural conditions in a pond or in incubators, which are specially constructed water tanks. Always continuous supply of flowing water is maintained in the pond. This maintains proper oxygen levels and helps to remove the waste material. Depending on the type of fish, different time periods are required for the eggs to complete the development and young ones to hatch out. The young ones are transferred to ponds and maintained till they grow to the required size. Fish pond construction. The design and construction of fish pond is a basic and preliminary requirement in pisciculture. The site where the fish pond is to be constructed, the nature of soil, water supply, and type of fish to be grown are the essential factors to be considered and planned before pond construction. To ensure the availability of enough food and space for the fishes, they need to be transferred to different ponds at various stages. Basically, 3 different ponds are required, depending on the species of fishes. They are nursery, rearing, and stocking ponds.
At the end of the topic, you will be able to tell the types of honeybees seen in India. List down the uses of honey and bees' wax.
The scientific method of rearing honeybees for honey and wax is called apiculture or beekeeping. Honeybees are social insects. They live in colonies. They exhibit teamwork and division of labor. There are 3 types of bees in a colony. Queen. It is the only fertile female in the hive. The function of the queen bee is to lay eggs. Drones. These are fertile male bees and its function is to mate with queen bee and fertilize the eggs. Workers. These are sterile females. They take care of the queen and young bees, collect nectar, build honeycombs and protect the beehive. Indigenous varieties include Apis indica, common Indian honeybee, Apis dorsata, rock bee, Apis florea, little bee. Exotic varieties include Apis mellifera, Italian bee, Apis adamsoni, South African bee. Honeybees are used in the production of honey and bee wax. Uses of honey. Honey is an energy-rich food. Honey contains sugars, minerals, vitamins, enzymes, and pollen. Honey is an antiseptic and contains formic acid as the preservative. Honey is a blood purifier, a cure against cough, cold, sore throat, ulcers of tongue, stomach, and intestine. Honey is helpful in building up the hemoglobin content of the blood. Honey is used in the preparation of bread, cakes, and biscuits. Bee wax. It is utilized in the manufacture of cosmetics, lubricants, cold creams, shaving creams, polishes, candles, ointment, and in medical preparations.
Production of honey and bees' wax. In apiculture, special boxes are constructed for bees to build hives. The special boxes are designed in such a way that the honey bees store their honey in linearly arranged wooden frames. A queen bee along with a few workers is transferred to these boxes. Once the honey bees fill these frames with honey, the frames are taken out and then the honey and beeswax are collected. The beekeeper is careful about the diseases that affect bees. He is also careful about the invasion of a moth called wax moth, which feeds on beeswax and destroys the cells in the hive. In this topic you have learnt, the rock bee is a wild bee and very aggressive in its nature. Honey bee produces honey and beeswax. In a colony, there will be 1 queen bee, few male bees, and several worker bees. Honeybee's venom is collected and used as a medicine in the treatment of the disease called rheumatism. Growing of bees is called apiculture.